Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so when we talk about the scenarios, it is the way that we can use the tools in Microsoft Excel to help us for showing different scenarios data for every for the variation of the data that we have got. For example, in this case, you can see that we have got the business that is the concert organizing business. In this case, we would like to show that if we have different type or different size of business how are difference between cost and revenue and also what is the profit and loss for different size of budget. Normally, if you would like to show the values or the information of each concert size, you show directly in this worksheet but you just apply the different scenarios to just make to just change your data according to our setup. The scenarios that we set up we need to prepare a template for the scenario first so that we can just put the data into this template properly. So in this one, assume that I set up the concert size with different costs and revenue that I just separate them into different items like this. The cell with the yellow color means the data that has been varied from size to different size, while the blue cells means that the cells that calculated from the variation of the yellow cells. For example, the ticket sales come from the multiplication of number of seats that is our different input, and price per ticket, that is another input. Merchandising and food and beverage. In this business, assume that merchandising is $5 per person for every size of the concert. Food and beverage is $15 per person for every size of the business as well in this one. But in the reality, if you say that okay, merchandising and food and beverage has been changed from one size of concert to another size, you can change it okay. And then when we have to just prepare our scenarios after you just prepare the template for it already, you just enter the data for one scenario in it because this one you don't waste the time because when you create the scenario the first scenario can copy this data directly to the scenario straight away without retyping the things to create the scenarios. We go to data choose what if analysis and then scenario manager. If this one is the first scenario that you have got the list of scenario will be blank, you choose add type the scenario name, and then you just specify the changing cell. In this one I use yellow color to highlight that which cells will be the changing cells. You can just use this trick as well in the exam. If you know that which one will be the value that you change from one scenario to another, you just use one highlight color to help. After that, when you choose them already, you click OK. When you click OK, it just pop up this screen for you list out all of the cells that you choose them as a changing cell. One thing that you have to know in that when you create the scenarios normally the changing cells here will be listed as a cell location. For example, in here I will have B5, B8, B10 to B16 and then F8 but you can see that in this scenario I have the concert size, number of seats, talent and so on instead of cell number or cell location. What should I do in this one? The tip in this is that we have to change the name of the cell location to be another name instead. We call it as cell name. In order to change the cell name, you go to that cell you just click on that cell first, and on the name box นะครับ on the left hand side นะครับ of your formula bars right now you can see that I have C5 then if I want to have C5 with a name นะครับ I want to rename C5 with another name I just highlight C5 and then type the new name in it for example in the yellow cell here I want to name this cell as concert size then I just like click on this cell and type the name of the cell that I want but bear in mind that it allows only underscore symbol only นะครับ space is not allowed other special symbols are not allowed นะครับ so when we got this one already you do the rest of the thing for the cells that you want to change because it will appear in your scenarios and also it will be appear in your scenario report as well ครับ when you got this one already you just like continue entering or creating your scenarios นะครับ the first scenario it will copy the data from this yellow cell automatically for you นะครับ then if you are okay with it just click OK do the rest of the thing for other size of concerts after that นะครับ when you would like to when you would like to show the data for example if one of your customers just like come to visit you and ask you for showing them the medium-sized concert you just click นะครับ on that scenario and then click show then you can see that all the data นะครับ in the yellow cells and the blue cells should be changed correspondingly นะครับ according to your formula then you may just like print this page out to your users or for your customers นะครับ and apart from that one if you would like to compare นะครับ if you would like to compare the information นะครับ if you would like to compare the information from different size of concert from these scenarios you can click summary to generate the summary report นะครับ but for the summary report we need to have the result cell in here just click นะครับ on the result cell that is profit or loss and then click OK then it generates the scenario summary report for you นะครับ bear in mind that the data here is not the it is the static report that means if you change any data in your scenarios นะครับ for example if you say that you change number of seat from medium size concert to be 600 นะครับ scenario summary report still show 550 that is not updated นะครับ the things that you have to do is that you have to regenerate นะครับ you have to regenerate the report once again นะครับ and also one thing I want to tell you is that for the scenarios here if you change the data นะครับ in the medium size concert to be 600 changing the value here is not correct นะครับ because you are changing in the worksheet you don't change in the scenarios if you say that you want the data in here to be 600 นะครับ in the medium size concert you have to go to what if analysis scenario manager go to medium size concert and then edit ครับ in this one for the number of seats if you want to change to be 600 change it here นะครับ and then click OK so right now it is updated for you already then you can generate the summary report once again you can see that right now the number of seats is changed to be 600 already but if you don't change นะครับ in the scenarios what will happen นะครับ let me just show you assume that นะครับ I didn't change anything before number of seats it was 550 right okay and then in here I said I want to change number of seats to be 700 I change it in my worksheet นะครับ in here it seems to be correct now but if you generate นะครับ the scenario summary report นะครับ you can see that in here it shows the current value as 700 but medium size concert is still show 550 นะครับ so it depends on you นะครับ if you want to play with the data นะครับ it shows in the current value but it doesn't affect the different size of concert นะครับ in here so this is what we have in the scenario manager and scenario summary report นะครับ after that we talk about the form in Microsoft Excel นะครับ that is the way that we use Microsoft Excel in order to help us นะครับ to enter the data easily similar to what we have in Google Form นะครับ in order to have the form นะครับ to be used in Microsoft Excel you have to enable the developer menu first. On Windows, you click on File menu, go to Options. After that, you choose Customize Ribbon and then tick on Developer tab. While Excel on Mac, you have to click on Excel menu, choose Preferences, and then choose Customize Ribbon to open up or to tick on the Developer tab as well. So the tools that we have to use in Developer tab on Windows, you have to go to Insert, and then you have to use the tools on Form Controls only. Do not use ActiveX Control because ActiveX Control is programming and we don't program anything in here. Just use Form Controls tools only. While on Mac, every every tools on or every type of objects on Mac we can use it because all of them are form controls. They are not related to programming. Okay, so there are 4 different objects in the form controls that we have to use. Combo box is here. Checkbox then we jump to option button, and then the last one is group box. There are 4 of the objects that we have to learn. So each kind of thing, or each item of it, we call it as an object. So that means in your examination, if you are asked to say, let's say, create 3 objects in the form, that means you may choose 1 from combo box, 1 from checkbox, the other one from option button. Or you may say that I have 1 combo box, 2 checkbox, something like that is okay too. Okay. So after that, we studied for the combo box. Combo box is a tool that is used to list out the data in your database. Normally, we just use it to list out the data in 1 column or in 1 row to be displayed in the list box, in the combo box only. For example, in here, if we say that our database is the product, it consists of 2 columns, product name and price. So we use the combo box to display product name to find the price of the product. The way to do is that we just go to insert and then go to the combo box. Then you see the hairline cross, drag it. And after that, you see white circles around this combo box. This is what we call control mode. So when it's control mode, if you click on the drop down, it doesn't show anything. Control mode is just used in order to move that combo box or that tool. Or we use it in order to go for format it. Or delete it by just using cut, something like that. Wow, this mode, you can see that on my screen. In this one, I don't have any white button, white circles anymore. This one we call it as use mode. When you are in use mode, you cannot move your combo box. Now I'm dragging, it doesn't move. The things that you can do is that you just click to choose only. But if you want to change it back to the format mode or setting mode, you have to right click first to see all white circles and then you choose format control to just change it. Okay, so I asked you to just create the one of the combo box here. Now let's see if I just go to use mode first, I don't see anything inside when I just click on the drop down because I don't link my combo box with the database yet. Now let me link this combo box with the database. You right click to change it to be the form setting mode. Go to format control. The tab that we have to use is control tab. We just choose the input range to be the range of data that you want to display. If I just choose wrongly and I choose price, it will display price instead of product name. This is wrong. So I just go back, right click, and then choose format control once again. Input range, I change it to be product name. While cell link is a cell that we use to link outside this table. in order to show the row number นะครับ or the order of that item in this table นะครับ so for example in here if I choose the cell link นะครับ if I choose the cell link to be in B6 let's see so you can see that in here if I use this combo box and I choose banana นะครับ it shows นะครับ it shows number 3 because banana is in number 3 is in row number 3 of this table ครับ so if I choose lemon it shows 8 because lemon is on the 8th line นะครับ or 8th row of this table what is it used for if you remember we have the index function in order to locate the value in the specific cell according to the location in here นะครับ when you use index function if you remember นะครับ the index function here we use index followed by array array is this table นะครับ row num row we use the cell link that we have got and column num price is in column 2 นะครับ so that's why we get the price of the product according to the product that we choose and then we can calculate number we can calculate the total price if the users just choose food item and then they enter number of item purchased they will know the total price straight away so this one is the combo box that we studied on the last class if we don't want any combo box for example this one I just like play with it when I don't want นะครับ I have to just like right click to make it to be the setting mode first and choose cut นะครับ to eliminate that one okay. so นะครับ that is the combo box now let's talk about checkbox that is the next tools that we have to learn นะครับ checkbox is a tool that tell us for the state of checking or uncheck นะครับ so in this one let me just give you an example นะครับ so in this one let's try we just go to insert and then choose checkbox from the form control นะครับ you see the hairline cross once again drag to create the checkbox ครับ in this one นะครับ my one is showing checkbox 4 your one might show as checkbox with other numbers นะครับ don't worry this one is just to link with the program นะครับ there's nothing more we can rename it to be any name as you want นะครับ this is just like the name or the label of this checkbox only so for this checkbox นะครับ the first thing that we have to do is that we go to the format control to see the setting first what will be inside นะครับ for the format control here in the control you have uncheck check and mix with cell-link and 3D shading let me explain to you นะครับ value what does it mean for uncheck check and mix are the status of this checkbox when you open up this workbook ครับ uncheck means that when you open this workbook นะครับ the checkbox will be cleared นะครับ it will be unchecked like this ครับ while check means that if you close this workbook already and you open it up once again it will be checked for you นะครับ automatically นะครับ when you start and mix means that it will นะครับ remain the status of checking for you for example today if I just choose it as mix right and then I save it without ticking on anything next time when I open up my workbook it's unchecked like this but if I choose it as mix and then I click นะครับ I tick on this checkbox and then I save and close this workbook next time when I open this workbook นะครับ this checkbox will be checked for me นะครับ it depends on the status of the last thing that you did before you save and close this file that is mix it depends on the usage นะครับ because some of the application you would like it to be checked ahead for example if we say that okay we have let's say two options between what to say undergrad student and grad students for MUIC and you say that okay most of the people who answer this questionnaire is the undergrad student you may put it as checked for the undergrad student first and when any participant just open up this checkbox this workbook is checked for them นะครับ as a default but if the grad student would like to change they can change นะครับ this one help us to save the time to enter the data because some of the data is pre-filled already นะครับ okay so the cell link นะครับ cell link this one is used similar to the previous cell link on the combo box นะครับ it just like tell us the value of this checkbox for you okay then assume that I use cell E23 of my screen นะครับ okay so right now นะครับ before we just use this checkbox นะครับ I just have to rename นะครับ this one first how to rename the checkbox you have two ways to do นะครับ the first one make this one as the setting mode first นะครับ to see the all the white circles around this checkbox then you click in front of the text and then you rename with like the new thing for example นะครับ click to enable this checkbox something like this this is to change or to rename it นะครับ next the other way to change or to rename this checkbox is put it up as the setting mode first for format by right clicking it then you see the white circles around this checkbox right then you right click you see edit text you click on edit text there will be cursor blinking in front of the text as well and then you type the message that you want to show for this checkbox นะครับ okay right now you have a checkbox already with the n/a นะครับ in the cell link n/a means that you haven't decided นะครับ the value for this checkbox so let's try ครับ we just like change from setting mode to be used mode นะครับ by clicking on other cell first when you click on this one already นะครับ you start clicking on this checkbox ครับ you can see that it shows false นะครับ if the box is not checked it shows true if the box is checked like this นะครับ so this one is like what we call like the status of the checkbox status of the checkbox here tells you for true or false that is logical value นะครับ true or false similar to the one that we use with if and what is we use this checkbox for นะครับ and what is the application of checkbox normally we use it in order to justify some what to say some value นะครับ of for some status and then we may use if function นะครับ we may use if function in order to help นะครับ we may use if function in order to help because we can check with this word นะครับ with this value if it's true you do something if it's false you do another thing นะครับ okay so in this one we use if in order to help combining this thing นะครับ okay so now this one let's have one example นะครับ that I would like you to do for me so this is what I want you to do นะครับ let me just copy this text to you in the chat box first okay. so this is what I want ครับ assume that นะครับ assume that I have a checkbox นะครับ this one I want a checkbox and in this one I want you to create a checkbox to say that okay are you a member ครับ if the customer is member he or she will tick นะครับ on this checkbox will tick on this checkbox so if the user tick on the checkbox what would I like you to do I want you นะครับ to find a discount นะครับ if this person is a member นะครับ you give 10% discount on any product purchase so I want you to write a formula to find the discount for this person if he or she is a member you give 10% discount that means in this case this person is a member you give 10% discount so the discount is 250 baht then the total amount นะครับ that this person has to pay is book A minus discount 2,250 but if this person นะครับ doesn't check นะครับ on this box the things that happen is that นะครับ okay let me just like let you do this one please okay this one I want you to just like specify that is he or she a member นะครับ in this case sorry in the first case first if he is a member or she is a member he or she tick on this one I want you to type yes นะครับ he is a member or she is a member then discount 250 this total amount is 2,250 but if this person นะครับ unchecked then the things that I want you to do is that you should report that no this person is not a member นะครับ and then discount is 0 นะครับ the total amount is 2,500 นะครับ so in this one นะครับ for easy for you to do นะครับ I would like you to assume that if the book price is 2,500 นะครับ just do the same thing as my one ครับ so that you can just find out นะครับ you just find out two things for me นะครับ whether this person is a member or not and what is his or her discount นะครับ so everyone นะครับ I want you to do this by yourself please first one create this checkbox second one create the functions for member and for discount นะครับ and then I want you to write down นะครับ the functions for member and for discount in the chat box when you finish นะครับ this one I will let you have 5 minutes to do ครับ everyone please write down a function to find out whether he or she is a member and how much is the discount amount that he or she should get นะครับ so please do it by yourself now ครับ 5 minutes ครับ everyone okay so now let's see นะครับ for the things that some of you answer นะครับ for me is here นะครับ when you just like create the box นะครับ the checkbox it's like this we go to developer tab insert and then checkbox นะครับ in here I name this checkbox as what to say member up in here and then I just control it I control it to be on selling in here I just like put it as unchecked first okay so then I just test on my box it shows true or false true or false in here so in this one I have to use if function to help so the if function นะครับ there are two different ways to check นะครับ first one you may check that if นะครับ e29 equals to true นะครับ comma value if true is showing yes otherwise show no นะครับ something like this so in this one you can see that it show yes or no นะครับ while some of you นะครับ if you have a look on your classmates in the chat นะครับ you can see that they type true นะครับ or yes instead of hang on yeah so this one oh okay all of them said e25 equals to true or e25 equal to yes นะครับ something like that Okay, so in this oneนะครับ let me just like show you another trick. One thing that I want to tell you is that in here, the value that is generated by this checkbox, this one is what we call logical value นะครับ it has true or false, right? True or false in here. When you have to just like type in your logical test, you don't have to put double quotes นะครับ because it's not the text. True is a logical value true. Apart from that one, the logical test here, when you test, it returns true or false, right? Okay, so instead of typing the full formula like if E29 equals to true like this นะครับ you can just like you can say that okay, if E29 straight away like this, it's okay too, because in E29 it means the value in here, it means a logical value that this function needs. If you put if E29 นะครับ in here, it said no or yes นะครับ straight away. You don't need to type in the full form that if E29 equals to true or E29 equals to false นะครับ you can type E29 straight away นะครับ there's no problem in here. So let me just like give it to you in this one. So on the discount amount, we do the same thing นะครับ we say that equals to if นะครับ E29 comma นะครับ we say that 10% times book price, otherwise 0 นะครับ in this one, and then you put the formula for the total amount to subtract the book price by discount นะครับ just that. Okay, so if he is not a member นะครับ discount amount is 0, something like that นะครับ okay, so this is the way that we use in order to just like calculate นะครับ the function นะครับ by using checkbox to help นะครับ okay, so this is checkbox ครับ do you have any questions about this checkbox ครับ so if you don't have any questions about checkbox นะครับ let me continue with the next one นะครับ that is option button นะครับ option button. Option button, or sometimes in some textbook we call it as radio buttons นะครับ these buttons come in group นะครับ it is used similar to multiple choice questions นะครับ that if you have many choices you have to choose one out of those choices. Option button does the same thing ครับ if you have 3 choices นะครับ you choose choice 2, the cell link will return number 2 to you นะครับ it depends on number of choices that we have got นะครับ okay, let's see, assume that I say that okay, in a questionnaire I would like to ask นะครับ about the gender of the users นะครับ okay, so before we just like decide what tools or what kind of objects to use, you can see that okay, to choose a gender นะครับ one person can have one gender only นะครับ or can choose one gender only. So if we use checkbox, when we have 10 checkbox, people can choose 10 checkbox นะครับ that is not matched with this type of question. If you have a gender นะครับ it's like a multiple choice, you have to choose one gender only in the list. The things that we have นะครับ is that okay, let's see, I just like show you this option button first นะครับ if you tick นะครับ and then you choose it, it looks like this ครับ it is a circle นะครับ that when you choose it look like a bull eye, and on the right hand side it just like show the label that you can change by clicking นะครับ on in front of the label and then retype the things that you want to have, or you can right click and choose edit text นะครับ the next one is format control. In this one you have uncheck and check similar to checkbox นะครับ but we don't have mix in this case. Cell link นะครับ work similarly with like other objects นะครับ that will be just one cell that will tell you for the answer that you have got นะครับ okay, so in this one assume that I would like to create นะครับ three option buttons for gender นะครับ so I create 3 option buttons. So I create 3 of them first. Okay. So when I edit the text. Okay. So you can see that these are like 3 options buttons that I created. Now we will just like format the cellsนะครับ to just have the cell link. I right click on female box, choose format control. Cell link, assume that I use cell A40 to store the cell linkนะครับ to store the cell link in A40. So what would I like you to see? If you go to the mail option button and go to format control, cell link will be linked to A40 automatically. For other นะครับ in the format control, cell link goes to cell A40 automatically ครับ so this is a good point of the option button นะครับ it comes in group, so that means if you create group of option buttons they link to the same cell for you automatically นะครับ okay so now I'll just like test this option button นะครับ if I choose female it shows number 1, if I choose male it shows number 2, if I choose other it shows number 3 on the option on the cell link for me นะครับ so everyone do you get 1, 2 and 3 for the gender that you specified in the option button like this? Okay. So if you get this one already นะครับ assume that in this questionnaire I have the second question. Second question here I would like to ask นะครับ I would like to ask for the age group. I would like to ask for the age group. This age group นะครับ consists of 3 options นะครับ that user can choose. The first option is teenager นะครับ I write the age group นะครับ the first one as teenager. Second one adults. And the last one senior. Assume that this form is used to just like justify the price of the ticket นะครับ for a different group of users. For teenagers นะครับ the price might be $10 for the concert ticket. For the adult might be 15 นะครับ while the seniors might be $10 same as teenager. So this one we have to use like the value that is specify the age group to justify the price of the ticket นะครับ okay so when you just like create 3 option buttons already now we just like set them up ครับ teenager นะครับ we right click and choose format control นะครับ now we link to now I want to link to cell A48 นะครับ and then I click OK. You can see that if I just check on adult นะครับ in the format control it links to A48 automatically as well as senior นะครับ link to A48 too right okay this is what I do นะครับ so what's next now let's use this form that we have like these option buttons together นะครับ if you click นะครับ let's say if I say that okay this user is other gender and that person is teenager นะครับ let's see what will be the value in the cell link I choose other and teenager so you can see that I cannot click other and teenager นะครับ it doesn't go I can choose just one choice only and also cell link show number 4 teenager it has to show number 3 sorry teenager has to be shown as number 1 right Now, if I choose male senior, you can see that I cannot choose male and senior at the same times, and then it shows number 6. Senior must be number 3, not number 6. What's going on? Right now,นะครับ, your option button think that these 6 choices are from the same question. This one is the error,นะครับ. You cannot just leave them like that. So in this one, option buttons are the option buttons of 2 questions. Then you need to find the tools in order to separate these 2 options, this group of 2 option buttons together. The tools that I'll just like have to teach you, we call it as group box. Group box is the box that we use to scope the option buttons to be together. For example, here the option buttons that specify gender must be together. Option buttons for age group must be together and do not mix up. In this one, we just go to insert and then group box in the form control. Group box is just a rectangle only. You just click group box and then you drag group box on the gender. This is a tips. You have to be careful. Group box can control that option button only when the option button only when the option button is inside that group box completely. What do I mean? Now I right click on female box and see what happened. This one you can see that this here it said that okay, it doesn't the female box is not in the group box completely because the border of the female is outside the box. Same as male, same as other. That means none of these option buttons is in this group box. What should we do? You have to expand the size of group box to make it bigger. So in here, you make it bigger by expanding it to cover all of these option buttons. Now let's check. Yeah, every buttons are inside this group box already. Then I will rename this group. The group box from group box 13 to be gender. I right click and choose edit text, and then I type gender. While the second one, okay, I may have to just like put it down for another line or 2. Okay. The other box is age group box. I do the same thing. In here, I go to developer tab, insert, and then choose group box. Then make sure that the group box that I create cover all of the option buttons in there. In here, you have to be careful. The upper line or upper border of the box touch closely to the group box. You may have to shift group box up a little bit. Here. So in here, the left border as well. Okay. Now, every option buttons are inside this group box already. Okay, now when I just do it like this, I rename this group box to be age group. Okay, so when we have this already, what is the next step that we have to do? The next step that we have to do is that you have to fix the cell link for each group. Now I fix the problem of the cell link of the gender first. I right click at the female box, go to format control. Now cell link is at A50, that is wrong. It must be at A40. I choose A40 instead and click OK. Now I check for male and other. Male, format control, it changed cell link to be A40. Yeah, that's correct already. for other นะครับ is A40 already correct. Now let's see นะครับ we have to fix the cell link for the age group too. In this one นะครับ I just check the cell link for teenager. I right click and choose format control. Now it's clear out already นะครับ because we have the age group นะครับ group box to cover this one. So that's why you just like try to eliminate that problem first. So cell link here is A50. Yeah. Okay. So when you choose it as A50 already นะครับ Okay, let's check for adult. It's A50. Yeah. Senior. It's A50 as well. Yeah. So right now นะครับ the group box and age group they นะครับ have the correct cell link already. Now let's try ครับ if we have male senior นะครับ male and senior what will happen you click male นะครับ cell link of the gender is 2 senior cell link of age group is 3 yeah this is correct already. I choose female adult นะครับ female adult 1 and 2 that's correct. Other and teenager 3 and 1 yeah this is correct already นะครับ this is the way in order to control your group box sorry to control your option button to just like link to the proper cell link properly นะครับ okay right so that is all for the option buttons and group box นะครับ that you can use. Then you can just like use the number in the cell link to do for other purposes. For example, you may just like use the if function in order to justify the price of the tickets นะครับ for each group of people นะครับ according to what you need. Right. Okay. All right then นะครับ up to this point do you have any questions about like the form in Microsoft Excel ครับ for these 4 tools that we have got? We have combo box, checkbox, option button, and group box. Okay, if you don't have any question now นะครับ the next thing that I'm going to talk about is I will talk about for the midterm examination that we are going to have นะครับ on this coming Saturday we are going to have midterm examination นะครับ the exam consists of 7 or 8 questions นะครับ the things that you have to know is that okay first our exam will be on our exam will be on our e-learning นะครับ will be on the e-learning but นะครับ because actually this subject we have altogether 5 sections there are 2 instructors for these 5 sections. It's Ajahn Veera for section 1, 2, 3 and for me นะครับ Paramin นะครับ section 4 and 5 so we just like separate our work to be like this ครับ on midterm นะครับ on midterm part Ajahn Veera will be the proctor นะครับ for the examination and for final exam it will be me who will be the proctor นะครับ during the examination we have to use WebEx นะครับ in order to let you log in and then we will proctor you นะครับ for the WebEx นะครับ for any of you who haven't got the WebEx you have to download and install WebEx into your computer นะครับ before the exam date นะครับ and for the meeting number นะครับ or room number for examination it will be announced on Friday. It will be announced on Saturday นะครับ around 15 minutes before the examination starts. How will you know which exam rooms do you have to use นะครับ I can tell you that for all of the examination papers announcement for the exam นะครับ on the midterm exam will be on Ajahn Veera's e-learning so นะครับ I will just like send you the e-learning of Ajahn Veera นะครับ on our line group and on our e-learning as well so that when you just like go to e-learning on Saturday นะครับ around 15 minutes before the exam start it will be นะครับ it will be the what to say announcement on the e-learning the things that you have to know นะครับ when you have to what to say do the exam นะครับ around 15 minutes นะครับ you log in into อาจารย์วีรัส email sorry อาจารย์วีรัส e-learning and then try to refresh the screen many times นะครับ because in the e-learning it doesn't have the what to say it doesn't have the updated automatically you have to refresh the screen to see นะครับ but I'll be with you I'll just like keep checking on อาจารย์วีรัส update นะครับ and then let you know on the line group by the way นะครับ during the examination you are not allowed to communicate นะครับ with other people including me as well that means I will not reply any message in the line group during the examination นะครับ because it's prohibited the things that you have to know about the examination นะครับ first one นะครับ when you are in the exam you have to turn off your microphone but turn on speaker all the time because if there is an announcement from อาจารย์วีระนะครับ he will announce through the WebEx so you have to turn on speaker all the time also the camera must be on นะครับ if your camera is broken you have to use a spare one by using your smartphone to log into WebEx instead and turn on the camera. The angle of the camera, you have to set the angle to be able for us to see your full face instead of forehead or just hair. So that means check your camera angle as well that it just like shoot your face นะครับ Okay. Apart from that one because this is closed book exam you are not allowed to open any web page to copy the data from นะครับ and plagiarism is really strict for our course นะครับ every term we see like students like has to just got F from this course because of they copy from each other so you have to be careful นะครับ do not copy the data from each other นะครับ or just like give or get any help from other people นะครับ this is just like plagiarism we are so strict about this honesty is important นะครับ okay now let's talk about the content in our midterm examination for the midterm examination นะครับ that I told you we are going to include all the contents that we study at the very beginning of this term นะครับso let me just like show you for what we studied at the beginning of the term at the very beginning of the term we talk about นะครับ the worksheet and workbook in Microsoft Excel นะครับ and then you can see that we study for the basic formula นะครับ we start from equal sign followed by the calculation then we talk about references in Microsoft Excel that we have two different type of references absolute reference and relative reference absolute reference or the nickname is to lock the cell you use $sign นะครับ in front of column and in front of row to lock the cell to lock that cell นะครับ if you want to lock just that column apply $sign in front of column like for example if you want to lock column F you put $sign F นะครับ and then for the row number you just leave it as is นะครับ okay so after that we talk about graph นะครับ we'll test you how to just like you know how to just use the graph in Microsoft Excel just highlight the data that you would like to create a graph and after that you go to insert menu นะครับ go to choose the charts that you would like to have or go to recommended charts นะครับ and choose the chart to be shown after that what we studied in Microsoft Excel more นะครับ is that we learn about the financial functions นะครับ we study for PMT, FV, and per PV rate, IPMT, PPMT, and IRR นะครับ this financial function นะครับ the question that we will ask you is quite similar to the one that you did in the exercises but it might be a bit more difficult นะครับ you have to make sure that you interpret the meaning of what we want properly นะครับ for these financial functions that we have got Apart from that, the application of the financial functions might be in form of the table that we call amortization table. It is the table that lists out all of the interests, all of the principal payment, and so on. I'll just like say, I'll give you the example of the amortization table template, and then the example of using it in the e-learning. Apart from that one, when we talk about the financial functions already, we study for the two input array table. For two input array table, or two table array, it's here. In this one, you have to create the formula first, and then just create the table with the variation of the values on the top row and the leftmost column. After that, you highlight the whole cells in order to generate the two input table by going to data menu, what if analysis, and then data table. Choose correct row input cell and column input cell. In this one, you have to be careful, everyone. If you do this work already, suppose you said that, okay, you use this worksheet for two input array, and then you get this table already, right? If you copy this table, and then you paste it in another worksheet, sorry, you copy it and paste it into another worksheet. Let's see what happened. So you can see that in this table, the original one, if you double click, you see that it shows equals to table C9, C8, right? But in this one, when you double click, it shows just the number only. For example, 17,500. This one, you have to be careful. You might just be viewed as copying it from somewhere else or plagiarism. Then be careful when you just like have to use the two input array into another place. Create it again. Do not copy and paste. It will not work. Be careful about this. Apart from the two input array, what else that we studied? We study for goal-seek. Goal-seek is the feature in Microsoft Excel in order to help finding the values for you, or backtrack to find out the value for you. For example, if you know that, okay, a company can get $1.75 profit for each t-shirt, and if you want to have like $1.5 million profit, how many t-shirts do you have to produce? This one we use the goal-seek to backtrack and find number of t-shirts that you have to produce. And we had the example in order to find out the advertising cost, that is 15%, and of the total cost, of the gross profit. And then we have to just like, because we don't know how much is 15%, and then you may have to use the goal-seek in order to backtrack and find the percentage of advertising cost over gross profit. Instead, this one you can refer to the video that we have got. After that, for the next thing, we study for lookup reference function. We have 4 functions that we studied. HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index, and match. We use HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP only when we have the key to search. HLOOKUP will be used whenever the data that might be a part of the key span in the same row. And we use VLOOKUP whenever the data that you can search for is in the same column, the first column, leftmost column here. And in the VLOOKUP, the data in the first column must be sorted alphabetically from A to Z, or ascending sort first. After that, for the index and match, index function is used only when we know the location of that cell in the table. Similar for what we have got in the cell link in the form, we know the column and we know the row from cell link, then we can find the value in that one. If we have many tables, we can also use index function as well by specifying each table into the argument. while match function is used to tell นะครับ the value is used to tell the location of the cell when we know the value. For example, if we have the table with like 1 column 5 rows and we want to know that which row store the value a, you just use the match function to reverse and find that okay a is located in row number 3, something like that นะครับ and bear in mind that match function can be used with 1 column table or 1 row table only. If you say that you have a table with two columns 5 rows, it doesn't work นะครับ it works with 1 column 5 rows or 2 rows 1 column, something like that only. After that, when we study for index and match function already นะครับ the next function that we study was about filtering and other things about the pivot table that we have got. For the filtering นะครับ I just like ask you to download the file to use.นะครับ in the pivot table นะครับ in here some if filter pivot data. In this one, if you want to filter anything, highlight those columns, go to data menu, go to click on filter นะครับ then there will be small square in order to just like filter the data. So in this case, suppose you want to see the amount paid, you just click on the amount paid here. And if you would like to have the advanced filter, you can filter them by the numbers as well. For example, if you say that the numbers or the amount paid that you would like to filter is the number that is greater than 300, you can choose number filter and then choose greater than นะครับ and then you type 300, let's say. When you click OK, so it will be filter only for the data that is greater than 300 in the amount paid column. When you don't want to filter anymore, you can just go to click and clear filter. Or if you want to disable this filter, you can just like go to data menu and click on the filter once again, then it clears off the data without changing the structure of the data. After that, we talk about the sum if s, count if s, and sum product. Sum if s are the functions that use some values with the conditions นะครับ Sum if is when you have one condition or one logical test only, while sum if s นะครับ is used whenever you have more than one criteria นะครับ to screen or to check before you sum. Count if and count if s are similar to sum if and sum if s, but we change from summing to be counting number of cells instead นะครับ The last one is sum product. It's a function that we add the multiplication results นะครับ of each row. For example, you find the stock value นะครับ for price per unit $2, quantity is 3, stock value is 2 times 3 equals to 6. So sum product is that it will multiply นะครับ 2 times 3 นะครับ and then keep 6, 4 times 5 keep 20 and add 20 with 6, 12 times 8 to be 96 and added with 6 and 20, then you get 122 as the sum product function result นะครับ This is sum product that we studied. Next on, we talk about data visualization tools like what to say, pivot table and pivot chart นะครับ For the pivot table, pivot chart, we just like create pivot table นะครับ from the data that you have got by highlighting นะครับ the headers together with the data, go to insert and then choose pivot table นะครับ It will just like create a blank table for you. Then you just like go to choose the field that you would like to add them นะครับ in the columns and rows นะครับ and the amount of money in the values นะครับ In this one you get pivot table already. And in order to create pivot chart นะครับ click on any cells in pivot table, go to insert and then choose pivot chart นะครับ Then you can choose chart นะครับ according to the type of chart that you want to have. When you just like have many of the charts already, that one is what we call นะครับ the what to say, let me find first. It's called as the dashboard นะครับ It's called as the dashboard like this นะครับ when you have many charts in the same sheet like this. You can control by using slicers นะครับ that can just what to say, choose and filter the data according to what you need นะครับ in here and the dashboard will be moving according to what filter or what slicer that we choose. In order to have the slicer นะครับ you just go to click on your pivot table first นะครับ any cells go to insert and then choose slicer นะครับ and then choose slicer and then choose the field that you want to make them as the slicers นะครับ then you can control it นะครับ after that we talk about the data visualization tools นะครับ apart from pivot table pivot chart and slicer we have data visualization tools that we have to know นะครับ in this class we study for icon sets icon sets is the way that we use pictures นะครับ to group or to classify group of data นะครับ firstly when you have data you have to think first how many groups would you like to have and then we just choose the icon sets that consist of that different numbers of icons นะครับ each number of each picture will represent one group นะครับ then where is it you go to home conditional formatting and then icon sets in here นะครับ for example directional one we have 3 icons that means it will separate your data into 3 groups นะครับ traffic lights 3 traffic lights separate data into 3 groups as well how do they gonna do it if you don't set anything up นะครับ the default values is that they separate the data into 3 groups นะครับ 33% per each group that means the way that they do is that they they find the max and min of your data first and then they draw the number line and separate the data into 3 groups นะครับ and then just like display the value นะครับ of each group for you but if you're not satisfying with this icon sets separation you can set up your range by yourself by going to highlight the cells with the icon set first go to condition home menu and conditional formatting choose manage rules after that you click on that rule and choose edit rule then you can change to be any numbers that you want to have in each range นะครับ or in each group as well okay instead of having the percent that Excel did it for you before นะครับ this is the icon set after that we talk about the data bars that use each cell นะครับ space to represent the bar size by finding the maximum and minimum of that range of the cells that you highlight to just like plot the chart the bar chart into this into the cell space นะครับ for you the minimum one will show just like very little portion of the bar while the maximum one will show the full bar นะครับ to the whole width of the cell so in order to have the data bar you just highlight the cell first click home conditional formatting and then choose data bars นะครับ and after that you choose what type of bar that you would like to have okay after that นะครับ we finished talking about the data visualization tools in here already we talk about scenarios นะครับ that we have to prepare the template นะครับ for the changing cells and then go to create a scenario by going to what if analysis scenario manager create scenario by adding it นะครับ choose the cells that you want to change and enter the data so when you would like to make the data to be changed in this worksheet you just choose that scenario that you create and then click show นะครับ the data in your template will be updated according to what you set up in the changing cells if you want to compare these scenarios together you can use scenario summary report นะครับ by just clicking on summary นะครับ and then choose result cell and then click OK then it's just like creating or generating the scenario summary report for you นะครับ but make sure that นะครับ all the data is updated because this report is the static ones if you have to go back to change anything in your scenarios นะครับ you have to generate this report once again otherwise นะครับ it will be just like the old data that might be wrong นะครับ in here after that for the last topic we study was about the form in Microsoft Excel we study for 4 things combo box checkbox option button and group box นะครับ combo box is used to display the value in the table here นะครับ we just like link it by using cell link and the cell link we can just use it to look up for the data item in another column of this worksheet นะครับ while the checkbox is different. The checkbox itself will return value true or false for you, and the value true or false is used in conjunction with if function to do something else. For example, in this one, we did the calculation for the discountนะครับ. While option buttonนะครับ, normally we use option button together with group box. Option button is like a multiple choice questionนะครับ. You get one answer out of these questionsนะครับ. But you have to use group box to help controlling it. Otherwise, if you have many questionsนะครับ, each question has like many option button, it will mix up your cell linkนะครับ. Make sure that if you create group box, the group box sizeนะครับ must cover all the left, right, top, and bottom border of each option button for youนะครับ. And then when you link one option button to a cell linkนะครับ, the option buttons in the same group will be automatically linked to the cell link for you. And for the value in the cell link, you can use if function in order to do something else. For example, you said that the price of the product or the price of the ticket has been separated by the age group. You can just use the age group in order to calculate the price of the ticket easily. And that's all for the topics that we study from our Microsoft Excel. So when you have to do the examination, in the exam, it has the instruction inside each question. If you are asked to create a workbook, that means you have to create a file. So that means normally in each question, you have to create one file or one workbook. Then except the question state otherwise, you can ask the proctor. So that means because we separate the responsibility clearly. Normally in the midterm exam, as in Vira will not just ask me to just like get into the WebEx. Otherwise, students will be confused. So he will be responsible in that. You can ask him for what you just like wonder about the things in the exam. Okay, right. Okay, then that should be all for the content for midterm examination. For the exercises and assignment that you submitted to me, all the solutions are posted on e-learning already, and then I give you some more practicing exercise as well from exercise 12 to 16 with the solution. You don't need to submit me anything. Just practice by yourself and check with the solutions that I give it to you. Okay, then everyone, up to this point, do you have any questions?
อาจารย์ครับ when are you posting last lesson lecture?
I think it should be by tomorrow. Let me just like because I think the complete one is on your section. Then I have to spend tonight to edit it. Okay, around tomorrow you see it. Okay, everyone, could you please turn on your camera while you're thinking about the question. Let me tell you something. Yotapon, your camera angle is not okay. You have to put it down because we cannot see your full face. Kanin, could you please turn on your camera? So during the exam, if you have to leave for the restroom, please let Ajahn Vira know first. And normally, after 30 minutes, if you finish your exam already, you may leave, but you have to let Ajahn Vira to know first, because sometimes he may have to just like would like to check for what you submitted first. And be careful when you submit, check carefully before you submit, because on the last term, some students, they submit blank file and we couldn't help because when we open it up, there's nothing inside. And before we know, it takes like 1 or 2 weeks already. we don't have any proof to check that you really do that work นะครับ so before you submit check carefully that all the files that you submit are the real work that you would like to submit นะครับ everyone okay right okay then any other questions ครับ anyone so if no นะครับ we see each other again on this coming Saturday นะครับ so I'll just like stand by I just stand by in the line group นะครับ around 12:30 and then when I just like get the signal from Ajahn Veera that he posted the thing already I'll let you know there because before 1 o'clock I can still contact you through the line group นะครับ but after 1 o'clock already I cannot do anything นะครับ okay okay Kanin I took the photo already ครับ got yours okay all right then นะครับ if you don't have any questions นะครับ everyone you have a nice day นะครับ study for your exam and then see you on Saturday ครับ don't forget นะครับ this Saturday 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. exam okay take care and stay safe ครับ everyone bye bye นะครับ good luck and all the best ครับ on your exam bye bye
Thank you, Ajahn.
you're welcome ครับ everyone bye bye